What is up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 95 of Think Twice, the magic and pop culture show hosted by me, Justin Parnell, and my co-host, Ali Soda Aintrazi. I know you're not drinking soda, but it sounds like you are.
It's called Sparkling O with an exclamation mark.
Oh,
it's like that. It's naturally flavored.
What does that
sparkling
mean?
Water?
What does naturally flavored mean? Like, what does that really mean?
I don't know.
Does anyone ever know what that means?
It says carbonate. Okay, number one ingredient is carbonated water, then citric acid.
Great, that's off to a great start.
Sucralose, fake sugar, potassium. Yeah, this is not this is not naturally flavored.
Yeah, it sounds really natural. Sounds very natural. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe it was prepared by a fruit, like a
Maybe.
fruit became sentient and then prepared it, which that would make sense. And it's naturally flavored. It's like
it just has 0 carbs. It has 5 calories per bottle, but it's like the best drink I've ever had. That I can have.
That tastes good. That is diet friendly.
Yeah, even not diet. I think I'll drink this. It just tastes really good. Next time you're over here, I'll share one with you.
No, I'm okay. I'm not a big carbonated.
I'll take a
drink
sip.
Fan.
I couldn't. It took me a minute to find them. So
okay.
But yeah.
Well, thank goodness you found the O.
I did.
Is that how you refer to it?
I've been looking all my life for the O, and
finally,
she showed me where it was.
Naturally occurring. The naturally occurring O. Anyway,
yeah.
What did you do last weekend?
Good question.
And you don't get to say I went to the gym and I streamed. Like, that's me saying, I went to work. Got up, took a shower, brushed my teeth.
Well, that's what happened though. I streamed Friday and Sunday. Saturday I hung out. That's it. I just hung out around the house and hung out with other people. I didn't really do much. Like I was lazy Saturday for most of the day. I just laid around, literally just laid around, walked the dogs, hung out with Aiden for a little bit, and that's basically it.
Okay.
Because and I watched a little bit of the Richmond Open.
Okay.
Because there was the new standard.
Yeah. How was that?
Uninteresting, especially after we see 3 red decks in top 8. All of them get 1, 2, 3.
They did indeed.
Yep.
I think in a couple of weeks, SCG Syracuse is going to be standard again, and I think there's going to be a lot more innovation. A lot of times people just are, one, scared to try stuff on week 1. I think that's very common. And 2, don't really know how to evaluate the new cards.
And 3, don't want to spend a bunch of money just buying new card. Yeah,
because cards are at their highest price. You're paying pre-order prices for everything.
Yeah, Mono Red gained very little from the set, and it's still a tier 1 deck. So, or pretty close.
Yeah, and that I think that's a fair statement. I don't know if it is, but it's certainly
it's really close.
It certainly preyed on the deck that everyone thought was the best deck, which was Simic Nexus, which ended up being shut out of top 8 and performed well overall on the weekend, but didn't make it to the elimination rounds, which matters to a lot of people. But and that means you just lost one more round than the people ahead of you. So
yeah, Dalton, a friend of mine, actually played the deck, and the two red decks he lost to both made top 8. He said so.
Yeah.
He was like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
and it's, you know, you have a bad matchup, and you just play that bad matchup multiple times, and yeah. So
can you imagine doing that for a living?
No, I would never do that for a living.
Anytime I'm playing Arena, I swear, and I miss like my 3rd land drop, or I flood out, or just have a bad day, I'm like, can you imagine playing this? Can you imagine playing Magic for a living? And I'm
playing Magic for a living where winning determines your income. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, that's
terrible.
And the thing is, no one's that good. No one is good enough to win consistently. Not consistently enough to where you can make that your life. And I understand that now there's the MPL, so you have 32 people that are able to do that, and that's 32 people, and that's it. And even before that, I could make the argument that that even the Platinum Pros could not really do that. They can, but they're not making a career. They're just at they're like above the poverty line.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not. However, I did play in Richmond, as a lot of you know, as I told everyone I was going to last week. And I took my beloved Mardu Aristocrats deck. Started off pretty good.
Do you have Teyo on it?
It did not have Teyo. I played against a number of Tamios. Started off pretty good. Had a feature match on camera in round 3, where I played against Esper Control, and handily won game 1. And in games 2 and 3, respectively, game 2, I did not have any red mana the entirety of the game, despite mulliganing. And in game 3, did not have any white mana. And therefore, ultimately died with essentially a handful of cards I could not cast. So that was a little frustrating, because if I have the third color of mana, I easily win. And maybe my day is different, but I did not. So it was not meant to be. I knew what I was getting myself into. I'm saying playing a 3-color aggro deck with 22 lands. So I never had mana problems drawing lands, but drawing them in the right order was troublesome on Saturday. However, on Sunday, I played in the Classic and did not have those mana troubles, and top 8 of the Classic with Mardu Aristocrats.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you draw lands and spells, you do well?
Pretty handily. I actually only lost
crazy.
On the whole day, including top 8, I only lost 5 games.
Yeah, that sucks too, because you told me you lost in top 8 because the guy had cried the Aquarium multiple times.
Yeah, and that was my first round. I actually played against the Demir player that made the top 8. And he also, in games 2 and 3, beat me with multiple multiple Cry the Carnariums. In fact, revealing 2 in not consecutive turns, but 2, 1 every other turn off of Kefnet. So,
oh god,
yeah, that was a little worse. So I lost that one. Then did not lose to it the rest of the day. And then first round top 8, my opponent who was playing Grixis Control had 2 in their main deck, and on turns 3 and 4 in both games 1 and 2 cast Cry the Carnarium, and I lost handily. I was done in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Cry is a nightmare.
You can't beat it. You just can't beat it. You can't beat it. It is possible to beat 1. It is possible. It is not likely, but it's possible. It is virtually impossible to beat 2 unless they're just like 1-for-1ing you.
Yeah, or if you have maybe like a Planeswalker out doing something, but yeah.
But not really, because it's Sorin, and you're just getting back the creatures, but they're exiled.
Yeah, I mean, like you need like a Liliana or a Ugin or something.
Yeah, but the cards you don't have in your deck because they're too expensive.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue is... yeah, I mean, the deck is just not set up to beat it. I honestly, it's just this Mardu Aristocrats deck. I think I do believe of all of the versions that I've seen, I think my version is the best. I actually spent a lot of time preparing for this tournament, so I am glad that I was able to snag a finish with it. But I think the deck that I played is very good, but it will ebb and flow with how much Cry is being played. If people go away from that card, like if it becomes like a Simic Nexus versus like Esper Control versus, I don't know, something else where Cry's not good.
Mono white?
Well, Cry is good against Mono white, unfortunately.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think only the card's going anywhere, really.
No,
if Mono white doesn't die.
No, but it might go down in numbers. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, possible. But when that card's not being played, I think this deck is very, very good. It will never be tier 1 because it is literally, there's a single card that beats it. There's only one card in the whole, on all of Standard that beats it, but it beats it. It's not like you're like, I'll figure it out. No, you won't. You'll die, and then you'll cry. So,
yeah.
So that was my weekend. That was my weekend. But again, happy I was able to top 8. With that deck, which I do think is a really great deck.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Defeated a lot of Simic Nexus decks along the way. That was my easiest matchup every time I played it.
Yeah. Simic Nexus has a bad bird matchup.
Yeah, this is the same,
reason.
except you also get Duress and D-Spark, and they don't like either of those cards.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, once I added D-Spark to my sideboard and ultimately ended up on 3, Simic Nexus does not like that card at all.
Yeah, D-Spark is also, I think, like a very, very good card that is seeing play, but it's
Not
just
as much as
answers
it
so many
should yet.
things. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to trade up.
Yeah, always.
It's
only,
trading
it only
up.
can trade up. Yeah, it's a great card.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. Okay. So,
We also had a question of the week.
we did. So this was one for people, for podcast listeners. This is going to be the majority of you folks. But our question of the week last week was, if you saw both of the monumental pop culture ongoings, meaning Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 3, which was The Long Night, or Avengers Endgame, which was better? That was the question of the week. Ali said The Long Night was better. I said Endgame. And I'm going to be honest, I'm obviously
Surprised by the landslide?
but I'm surprised by the landslide. And I don't think
Me
it's
too.
that far apart, which is
I don't either. Maybe it's because
Game of Thrones getting a little backlash.
it was so dark. Yeah, just hard to see stuff. Maybe that was it. But regardless, it's still like a, yeah, it's like more than what, 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The Long Night received 23% of the vote. Endgame received 77% of the vote. I do think Endgame was better ultimately, and I went back and forth, but I'm pretty happy with my choice, and I think I'm happier with it now upon being a week removed from those. But even still, I'm surprised at the difference.
Yeah, me too. Actually, like I'm not surprised Endgame won.
Yeah, me neither.
But I am surprised at the vast gap between it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Speaking of Game of Thrones, we are still in the throes of talking about Game of Thrones on our pop culture segment. We have Season 8, Episode 5 coming up next week, as well as the War of the Spark novel by Greg Weisman. Act 2 is what we're going to be covering next week, both of those things. So if you want to be joining that conversation, then catch up on Act 2 of the War of the Spark novel and watch Game of Thrones, of course. No new patrons this week, but I do want to give a shout out to one of our patrons that had a very special week. Curtis earned your master's in business administration. Congratulations. We're happy to have you as a part of the Think Twice family, and that's super awesome, and we want to give you a shout out on the show because you've earned it for sure, at minimum. So, way to go. We're all very happy for you. And of course, if you want to be part of the Think Twice family, you can join at patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. There's a lot of great rewards tiers. You can be part of that Discord family too. That's at the $1 Augur of Bolus tier. I think we might be changing the name of the tier. We're going to have to add more. There's more Bolus cards now.
There are.
Like, we got to add all the Bolus stuff. So the tier names might be changing a little bit. We haven't talked about that yet, but now with the War of the Spark out, we might review it. Anyway, join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. And of course, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean. All of those. Please leave us a review, a like, a share, a comment, a subscribe. All of that really helps us get the word out about Think Twice, which of course helps you because we can deliver this great content. So thank you very much for everyone that's listening, and thank you for future listeners as you continue to leave us reviews and comments and such. Okay. Ollie.
Yes, I'm ready.
Great. We have a portion of one of our most popular segments on the show. You know it. You love it. It's 5 top 5s, asterisks, for this week. Coming up in just a moment. So we had to throw the asterisk up there because we go long on this segment usually, the 5 top 5s for War of the Spark. So here's what we're going to do. We're making a deal with all the listeners. We're going to split 5 top 5s between this week and next week. However, obviously that doesn't split evenly. We're not going to split one of the lists. So what we've done is we're going to have 6 top 5s just for War of the Spark, because there's way too much to talk about that we can just fit into 5 lists. So we're going to 6. So 3 this week, 3 next week. To give everything a little breathing room. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Great.
And I'm going to start. I want to pick a list to start with.
You go right ahead. You jump on in. Jump on in the deep end.
This one should be called Chapstick.
Chapstick.
Yeah. You know why?
I don't have a clue.
Because these cards are the bomb. These are the top 5 sleepers.
Yeah, that totally made sense. Chapstick, the bomb.
Yeah. Top 5 sleepers from War of the Spark. All right. Number 5. Enter the God Eternals.
Whoa. Hold on. Those top 5 sleepers?
Sleepers,
I'm
yes.
not sleeping on this card, Ali.
Maybe you're not. But everyone is. Even you.
I'm sleeping on it even though I don't think I'm sleeping on it?
Yes.
That's the next level.
Some people are playing like 1 of this card, maybe 2 of this card. This card single-handedly will change aggro. Like swing the game against aggro into your favor. 5 mana for 4 life and a 4/4. The middle part is who cares. Is extremely powerful and super swingy. And all the people like are realizing it. Like I see some people playing like maybe 1 on their sideboard as Esper control, maybe 1. And then I see some Espers not playing any other sideboard. It's just like, this card is so good. How are you not playing this card? It's so freaking good.
I think if you're like, I don't think this card is good, and you're like, I also don't have I have no trouble beating mono red, and I'm playing Esper control. One, you're either wrong or you're
lying to yourself.
Yeah, you pick one.
Yeah.
You're wrong or you're lying. Like those are your 2 options.
Yeah, so I think this card's definitely a sleeper. Next one, number 4, is the God of Death. Not Yogg Saron, but Nicol Bolas Dragon God.
All right, okay, so you started with Enter the God Eternals, which is Flame Tongue Kavu and Noble and Logsdon Hierarch slapped on to a card that takes the other 2 colors of mana except for red, white, and green, and does both of the effects.
It's crazy.
And now you're saying that the 5 mana Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, which takes all the other abilities of other Planeswalkers and accrues card advantage while removing permanents of your opponent. This is also a sleeper, just to confirm. I'm getting all that right.
Yeah, basically the namesake card of the whole entire set, like is a sleeper. You know, the art's everywhere. No one's playing this card, or very few people are. And I think it's because they think Grixis, they believe Esper is the better control deck. But they forget that Grixis gained a lot from the set. It gained so much from the set.
Like, significant amount.
Yes, and they're sleeping on that. Like they're sleeping on Ingress Rampage. They're sleeping on Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Both of them get Despark. Both of them get Enter the God Eternals.
Well, I don't think the Bolas deck is getting Despark.
Oh, sorry, not Despark. I apologize. It gets Rampage though, which is arguably
situationally better.
Despark. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're both very powerful cards. I think Despark's probably a little bit better because it's an instant, but it's close.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. And then also, like, if you want, you get access to Rekindling Phoenix, which makes your mid-range matchup not a joke, but a joke.
Yeah, I mean a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I think Nicol Bolas has not found the perfect home yet. I think it's probably some grinding deck. It seems like people are just jamming him in value shells. Maybe that's right. I'm not sure which one's right. I haven't messed with this card a lot, but I think once we figure out which one is right, then we will actually see the true power of Nicol Bolas.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen it yet.
Well, I mean,
there's so many lists. There's so many lists because there's so many different ways to build it.
Yeah.
Right.
You obviously have to be firmly in Grixis because that's what it calls for. But if you can swing that, then I think you're in good shape.
Yep. Next up, number 3, Narset's Reversal. This card is... Anytime I cast this card, I feel like the game's over. Obviously, you can't play too many of these cards, but when you bring this card in from your sideboard, or even if you have one main deck, whenever you're casting it, it's such a huge tempo swing. Like casting this on a chemist, even just a chemist's insight, is massive. Casting on Commence the Endgame is also massive. And then of course if you cast that next to Fate, the game's probably over. You can even like bounce like your own next to Fate with reversal, so that you take another turn, then you cast next to Fate again. They are on your other new turn. It's also great versus like Thought Erasure. It's great versus Unmoored Ego. Just a very good card that I think is not seeing enough play, even though people know how powerful Remand is. I think that they're sleeping on reversal.
I do think. I mean, it's blue is significantly harder to cast, but the power is certainly there. It's the difference between this and Remand. Is Remand says draw a card. This says instead of drawing the card, you draw and cast a card for free.
For free.
Yeah,
and has no restriction. Like there's no like expansion restriction or anything. It's and any counter uncounterable spells. So like, just a great card. I think it's more of a sideboard card, but when you bring it in and cast it, it swings the game so heavily. It should be gameplay more than it is. Number 2, this is I think another sleeper. I've cast this card multiple times, and every time I cast it, I'm just like surprised by how powerful it is. And that's Casualties of War. For those who don't know, Casualties of War is double black, double green, 2 colorless, 6 mana, and lets you destroy up to 1 artifact, creature, land, enchantment, planeswalker. I think that's it. And you can just destroy all 5 if you want.
One of every permanent type.
Yeah. Yes. This card's really good. Like I know I say really good, and like it's hard for me to explain because every time I cast, like if you get 2 things, it's okay. But once you start getting three things, like 3 things is just a blowout. Anything more than that is just I'm not sure how your opponent's going to win the game.
So that's what I was going to ask. Where is the line for the power level of this card? Because 2 is not worth it for 6 mana. Sorcery speed.
I think 2 is actually still pretty good if you're hitting a walker and
I'm just saying 2 in general. Not you don't get to pick 2 because you don't always get to choose what you're killing when you're putting this in your deck, right?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of just say like on average, what is the number of things where this is a notably good card? And maybe it is just 3, which is fine. But
I think 3. I think it's 3. I think it's like once you're able to hit like you're always hitting a land. You're always hitting a land. Then you're usually hitting a creature or planeswalker. But when you're able to hit like land, creature, planeswalker, that's good. Or even land, planeswalker enchantment, or creature artifact, or creature enchantment. You also it's just huge, especially if the land is doing something like maybe some Memorial to Folly, or they're playing a 3-color deck and you cut them off. There's been times where I was able to cast this, blow up a land, next turn cast it again because of Teyo, blow up another land, and now like it's game over. Just they're too far behind. Cutting off a land, especially like it hurts. Like it's a tax, especially early to mid game. Like I guess more mid game, but
yeah, I don't think you're casting this early game.
I've cast it on turn 4, but yeah.
Well, I don't think for most people, I don't think most people consider turn 4 early game, but maybe an Ali Aintrazi land. It probably is. They're like, we're going 20 turns. Turn 4, we're just getting started.
Yeah, turn 4. Yeah, turn 4. That's big for me. I'm not saying this card is like gonna wake up and like destroy everything, but I think it's a card people are sleeping on. I think they think it's a commander card, and I'm sure it is.
It is,
but it's
spoiler
also
alert.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's also very powerful for Sinner too. Like I'd be surprised if like Ogari or some other mid-range decks don't play 1 copy somewhere. It's just a huge swing.
Okay. I'm not as sold on this one. I'm not as sold on Casualties of War. I like the effect, but as far as its power level, just because it's so restrictive.
Do you remember Violent Ultimatum?
I do remember Vital Ultimatum. I don't think Vital Ultimatum was good.
It was played though. It was played in some decks, and it was impossible to cast.
Yeah,
and destroyed 3 permanents.
That format was significantly slower than this one.
Sure,
like
but
a lot slower.
This is a lot easier to cast. It's a lot easier to cast. It costs 6 minutes instead of 7. I just think it's better than it looks.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, but I think there's more going on deck building wise that you have to address first. But either way.
All right, number 1 card. Probably gonna be surprised because I'm saying this, but I think it's Museum Tank. Museum Tank is a vehicle, a red 1. I believe it's a 4/3. It's a 4/3.
It's a 3/2 to baseline.
Oh, sorry, 3/2. Then whenever you cast it on creature spell, it becomes a 4/3 because it gets +1/+1 and becomes a creature.
Yes.
And basically for the rest, and then it has prowess essentially. So like it can keep growing.
Yeah. Every time you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 and becomes a creature. If it's already a creature, it just gets +1/+1.
Yes, and I think this card is a sleeper because people are playing the Arcanist, Dreadhorde Arcanist with Feather when they should just be playing with Museum Tank. Honestly, like it's easier to cast. You can stay in 2 colors, and when your opponent like casts Clarion or Cleansing Nova or Ritual of Soot, you still have Museum Tank to untap with and just go ham. And this card does a lot of damage really quick. It's 3 mana that can be like you can be cantripping and killing your opponent. Like imagine like your ops, all of a sudden are now dealing damage, or everything deals initial damage. It's basically like the raw Storm Conduit emblem, but also on a creature that avoids a board wipe.
Yeah, most importantly.
Yes.
I was talking about Cry the Carnarium. Not going to be a problem against Museum Tank.
Yeah, no. And like untapping something for 4 after you put at least for 4, after your opponent clears the board is huge. Like that's a big chunk of damage. That's what 20% of your life total? That's big.
Oh, it's definitely a big chunk of your damage. Big chunk of your life, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know though, this card has trample. Didn't know that, did you?
In case you were going to be fresh and try to block. I did. Because I always look at, I'm like, how... See, when we look at spoilers, previews, the first thing I do is, what can I play that will get my opponent dead? And you're like, what can I play that will help me not die? And then secondly, then we switch. So yeah. I was definitely aware of this card. You and I talked about this one pretty early, and we're like, this card seems pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think it's not close to the best vehicle in the set. And just right now, just not seeing any play, and I think that's a mistake. Like even late game, if you draw like your Dreadhorde Arcanist, you can just this thing is crew 1. It's not like crew 2 or crew 3. It's crew 1. It's pretty easy to crew as well. So
yeah, and not that you're going to be crewing it often, but if you need to, the option's there.
You can. Yep, I agree. That is always Chapstick top 5 sleepers.
Chapstick, obviously everyone knows what that means. All right. So
the bomb.
The what?
The bomb.
Chapstick bomb? Are you saying chapstick like the balm? Like BALM?
Yes.
Oh.
Are you just not getting the joke?
I'm just now getting the joke. It took me the whole segment. All right.
Are you serious?
All right. Okay. I have a list as well. Ali, there are formats. Now, this may be a shock to you. I want you to sit down first. There's formats outside of Standard. There's formats where cards go when they're no longer loved by you.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
Is this format Israeli? Because is it really hot? It's really hot.
I don't even know if that was a joke. I think you're just saying things.
No, I'm saying.
Like you didn't even wait for me to answer. You're just like you couldn't help yourself, and
this
you
is
really wanted
why
to
I can't tell. This is why. Is it really hot? Like Israeli.
Yeah, Israeli is like a person from Israel.
Hot,
yeah, I got it.
No, Israeli hot. Like it's really hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. Israeli,
Okay.
like someone from
All right,
Israel.
keep going.
Yeah,
Keep
hot.
going.
Yeah, no, I got it. We all got it. Everyone got it, but we didn't laugh. We chose not to.
I don't believe you. Prove Justin wrong. Tell him you laughed at my joke, please. Thank you.
Okay, or just be honest. Anyway, there are formats other than standard, and War of the Spark provided a lot of stuff to Eternal formats, non-rotating formats, modern, vintage, legacy. Not talking about Commander yet. We'll talk about Commander later. So my top 5 cards for Eternal formats. Number 5, Neoform. Now, I'm not a big fan of this card. However, I cannot deny the combo potential that Neoform has. Eldritch Evolution was already seeing some play, specifically in Modern, as a way to cheat your mana to get a big dumpy creature out much sooner than you should be able to. Neoform does this for 1 mana cheaper. That's pretty important because Modern, obviously, you're trying to skimp on mana as much as possible. And specifically with the London Mulligan rule, there is a deck with Allosaurus Riders that is playing Allosaurus Riders on turn 1 for free and then casting Neoform on it to get out, a Gristlebrand or something. Turn 1 Gristlebrand in every format is good. I can promise you that. So even if the London Mulligan rule does not come to pass, I think this card is powerful enough for it to definitely see play in Modern. So Neoform number 5. Number 4 is a card we're probably going to be talking about on another list. Actually, a couple of these ones are, but number 4 is Teferi Time Raveler. The rate on this card is just really, really good. And the fact that it can bounce creatures, artifacts, and enchantments means that it is certainly playable in Modern, potentially Legacy, and even potentially Vintage, just because you can play it off of a land and essentially a Moxen pretty early. It stops some combo decks that are trying to go off at instant speed, or at least helps you disrupt them. But specifically in Modern, there is, of course, a combo, using that in air quotes, with Knowledge Pool. In Modern? Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this card was Modern.
It essentially locks your opponent out of playing spells. Because they only can cast them. They cast them during your upkeep. So, with Teferi out, that means they're just not casting them at all. So,
that's fun.
Yeah, it essentially suspends everything, but it's like suspend 1. But as you know, with the creature Teferi, that means that doesn't happen. So, Teferi's one to watch out for. It's also just a decent control card. All right, number 3 is one of my favorite cards in the set, which is Narset, Parter of Veils. This card, as well as the next card, is already starting to see a lot of play in Legacy and Vintage specifically, because Narset's static ability says that your opponents cannot draw more than 1 card a turn. And I don't know if you know, in those formats, people like to draw a lot of cards in 1 turn.
I don't know that.
Narset says, no, just 1. You'll have just 1, please. Much like Leovold before her, however, Narset's only in 1 color instead of 3. It's a lot easier to cast.
Yeah, I think she just destroys Leovold, as in makes him obsolete for the most part.
You have to be already playing a Sultai deck. You have to already be playing a Sultai deck. Otherwise,
right. Even then, though, I'm still leaning toward Narset.
I think if you're playing Sultai, specifically Sultai, not a 4-color deck, not a 2-color deck where you're splashing a color, but you're in those 3 colors, I think Leovold is better, only because the secondary ability is pretty important. Where if you're targeted by anything, you draw a card. I think that is good because usually you're kind of resource trading, so it encourages your opponents to do that. But otherwise, I just think that Narset's better, which is kind of crazy because Leovold's a really powerful card. You also get 2, even outside of that, you get 2 Search for Ascanta activations off of it. Just because.
Yeah, you get actual impulse, essentially.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. If
yeah.
You can't get a land.
Impulse is too strong, but 3 mana impulse twice. It's not.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Narset is incredibly powerful. It's probably honestly one of the better cards in the set overall. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure we'll talk about Narset more later. Anyway, number 2 is Karn the Great Creator.
I named this card a great card early on.
You did. You were like, this card is insane. And you're mostly thinking for standard, but this.
No, I said modern.
You did, because we talked about it with Tron. This card, I believe, is going to see play in Modern, Legacy, and Vintage. All of them. The ability to get a Mycosynth Lattice with Karn from your sideboard in every single one of those formats is a real thing.
Yep.
It just locks you out of the game. You cannot cast any spells. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're done. The game ends if it resolves with a Karn out.
It's rude. Rude.
It's quite rude. Yeah, you could definitely say that it's rude for sure. In Vintage, it's particularly scary because you have Mishra's Workshop, which makes that a lot cheaper. It doesn't make Karn cheaper, but there's so much other artifact mana that you barely have to bend your deck to be able to do it. It also, again, doesn't really do anything. It's not hurt by Stony Silence, which a lot of those artifact decks are, because Karn is not an artifact, despite acting like one. And even if your opponent has a Stony Silence out, you can go get a Lattice, cast the Lattice, locks everyone out, but then you still have a Karn, and you can still attack with artifact creatures, which you can just make your artifact creatures from Karn into, and then kill them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Totally fair. Yeah.
Also saw people tutoring up liquid metal coating, animating opponent's lands, and then plussing on with.
Yep.
Yeah, with Karn. Yeah.
There's a lot of messed up things you can do. In fact, the deeper you go, the less fair it gets with this card. In every single format. In the latter, actually, all of these formats, you're able to just cheat on mana in different ways. The Workshop in Vintage, it's Cloud Post in Legacy, it's Tron lands in Modern.
Yeah. When Mastermind leaves, I want to be okay.
Karn's going to keep you warm at night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very easily.
Number 1, Blast Zone. This card is just injured explosives on land, and I think that is just going to change all of these formats. Modern less so, but the other two formats where there's a lot more counterplay going on, and you're able to kind of control the board a little bit more. I think Blast Zone is just fantastic.
It seems great. It seems great for lands.
Yeah, it's particularly great for lands for sure. Very, very great for lands. Especially if you can figure out how to take that counter off, then it's doing something. I mean, it's already great. Like, this is just going to be a great card. It's going to be a very annoying card. This is probably a card in some time I wish didn't exist, but for now, here we are. So, Blast Zone, definitely number 1 Eternal format staple. Oh, you have one more list?
I have one more list. But first, this smells like trash. Do you know why?
Yeah, is it your joke that you're smelling?
Because we're going to take it out. We're going to take these cards out. Okay. These are the top 5.
It wasn't your joke.
These are the top 5 most overhyped cards in the set. These are the trash cards that we're going to take out. That was my joke. All right, number 5.
Got it.
People are saying, oh, this card is the Scarab God. And that is God Eternal Oketra. This card is not the Scarab God. She's okay. But she is not... Like, she shines in...
Like a diamond?
Mid-range mirrors. No, this isn't Rihanna. She shines in mid-range mirrors. And you know what doesn't exist in Standard right now? Mid-range decks. Do you know why? Because we have Nexus, Esper, Hyper Aggro, and that's it.
That is correct.
This card is just I'm sorry, it's just not good. I mean, not in this format. And people were saying it's like compare the Scarab God, and that's just incorrect. This is not a Scarab God. I know it makes 4/4 like the Scarab God, but
I've seen the Scarab God, and this is no Scarab God.
Yeah. When you kill the Scarab God, he went back to your hand. Ketra goes away for a while, then comes back later. Like, these gods' passives aren't as powerful as old god passives, thank goodness. But again, overhyped.
Thank godness.
Thank godness, yes. Number 4, commence the end game. think this card is good.
is a little surprising for you, for me.
Yeah, because I hyped this card up.
You
a
did,
lot.
and I believed you. I trusted you.
Yeah, I just don't think it's. I think you play one maybe in your decks, and like even then, like this is the best card. This is the best thing you're doing at 6 mana. I don't know. Probably not.
You told me this was Torrential Gearhulk.
It is like a Torrential Gearhulk, but again, like it's just not good enough right now.
Everything I knew was wrong. Everything I knew was a lie.
Like even in Esper, if you want to cast this, when do you cast it?
Turn 6.
Against Nexus Fate, though? Can you do it? It better be exactly turn 6, and you better be on the play. Because otherwise, you probably can't tap out for this card. But yeah. Number 4, Queen's Endgame. Number 3, another Ollie favorite. Evolution Sage. It turns out that playing lands is very slow.
You only get one of those a turn.
Yeah, you get one of those a turn. You have to have one. And it's this card is usually a 4-drop, and the problem is you need to have something else going on before then, otherwise it doesn't just do anything. So you have to hold it in your hand. It's just no, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. The only deck it works in is in the poop deck with Wild Growth Walker, Branch Walker, Jail Ranger. Even then, like, is this what you want? This is what you want?
I already don't want any part of that deck, but I want it less with Evolution Sage.
I agree. I'm sorry, Sage, but you are poo-pooed. Number 2. This one I had not overhype, but other people did. And it is Raw, Storm Conduit. Raw is so good. You can combo with expansion and copy it infinite times and kill your opponent, take infinite damage. Yeah. I just don't think this card's good. I don't think. Good.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I don't think like when do you place Raw in your team your teamer deck? Okay, you better have 4 reclamations first. Then how many Raws do you play? Maybe 2, but that's your combo. So you gotta play 4. So what? You have 8 4-drops. How many insights do you play? Because insight's really good with reclamation, and it's really good with Raw. Like 2. Like I'm saying, like he's cool. He seems sweet, and sure he can do some fun things. Which hey, I understand that. But ultimately, if you're trying to be competitive, I think just Reclamation is better. Reclamation is a better card, and Insight's a better card with Reclamation. They just go hand in hand. That is my verdict on that card.
So, I have had... This is not counting when you were doing your 24-hour stream. I've had 3 different people have an opt, a shock, something else, maybe something I've cast, and then 2 expansions, and then Ral out.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of those people killed me?
0.
That'd be 0.
I had 2. I had 1 on stream, and then 1 on stream again, but not during the 24-hour stream, where they just did not kill me. Actually,
that was the first time that someone did it against you, and you were like, "We're just going to concede." I was like, "No, don't concede.
Let's wait." Yep.
And sure enough, they messed up.
Yeah.
So especially if you're playing on Arena, I definitely think this is most overhyped because people will just mess up. Don't concede.
Absolutely.
Let them kill you.
And it's so easily disrupted. Like you kill the Planeswalker, you counter one of the spells.
A number of things you can do. Virtually anything. If you move, if you blink, you'll disrupt it.
It's a 4-card combo, man. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe just play Raw for value and not for that combo. Maybe it's fine.
I don't think Raw is a bad card, but I agree with it on your list because I think it was just people were like, "This is one of the best cards in the set." I'm like, "No, this is a fine card."
No,
like, I think the card is okay. I think if your plan is to try to kind of abuse the -2 with like burn spells or cheap draw spells, like something like Chart a Course or Lightning Strikes, I think that's reasonable. Like that's a reasonable way to fight against control decks like out of the sideboard. I think that makes it a good card, but it's not even. I mean, this is not in the top 25 cards in the set probably.
All right, number 1, Bolas's Citadel. People thought this card was great. They're like, oh my god, more free spells. Didn't wizards learn from Phyrexian mana? Newsflash. They did. Bolas Citadel is fine. And people have found the home for it in Golgari, but again, you're playing Golgari. And I had someone cast this and combo off, and then pass turn back.
And then what? Yeah.
I Nova'd, pass back, they combo off, I Nova. They have like 4 cards left in their deck, and they can't do anything. And it's like, huh,
cool.
All right. Yep. Exactly. Cool. Yeah. It's just not a good. It's a fun card, but it's not as hype and powerful as people thought it was.
And this is not for me. This is not. I'm not trying to dunk on you by saying this, but this card is a lot. This card is Lich's Mastery. It's not Lich's Mastery, but it's Lich's Mastery.
But it's worse than Lich's Mastery. Like I tried playing. Like this is my first Brew Run card, and I tried playing it, and I was just like, this is terrible. Like it's like, yeah, I'll just play Revitalize and Ritual Rejuvenations, and then every time I cast this card, I was like, why isn't this Lich's Mastery? And the problem is they don't go hand in hand. Like they cannot.
No.
Lich's Mastery and both Citadel counteract each other. So, yeah, I think it's a sweet card, and I will continue to build on this card, but I just don't think it is what people hyped up to be. Like people were scared of this card. They thought this was the best card in the set. And it's
a lot of that on this list.
People thought every card was the best card in the set. Yeah, I agree.
I think that speaks to the power of the set because it is a really great set.
No, it speaks to how dumb Magic players are. Sorry, Magic players. Not sorry.
That's true. Well, for example, like you and I both think that Rawl is a fine card, but it's just not one of the best cards in the set.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
it's at all.
Yeah, I think Rawl's playable. It's just not.
Yeah,
it's just not great at all, and it's probably never going to be great. But that's okay.
Like, dude, I named in my set review. I named Teferi, Narset, Karn, all being amazing cards, and people, a lot of people were sleeping on those cards. Yeah. People were not playing the small Teferi in their decks until
which is crazy.
Very
you
late.
And I both instantly agreed that we, even without discussion, we were just like, "This is the best card in the set." And we both just agreed instantly. We're like, "Yeah,
yes."
And even if it's not, it's like top 5 card in the set. So, all right,
for standard, it's the best card in the set, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. But
yeah,
even if I'm wrong, even if you're wrong, how far off are we?
Not maybe second best.
For example, we said when Dominaria came out, you and I were like, History of Banali is the best card in the set, and we're like, Teferi is very good, but History of Banali is better. Okay, Teferi ended up being better, but History of Banali is like the second or third best card in the set.
Yes,
that's what this is.
Yeah,
like that's what we're working with here. Even if we miss by saying this, Teferi's so good, it's like, okay, maybe it ended up not being historically the best card, but it's like one of the best cards. It's in the top 3 or top 5 maybe because this set's so crazy. It's not worse than that. No situation is it going to be worse than that. I promise.
Yep.
Anyway,
I agree. The passive is absurd. Yeah.
Anyway, we have 3 more top 5s coming next week. So buckle up because we will be back next week with the rest of our top 5s. You're definitely going to want to hear them. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to finally get into the War of the Spark Ravnica novel by Greg Weisman. Be back in just a moment. All right, finally, we are at the long-awaited War of the Spark novel. Not just little partial story on Magic's website. This is the big deal. Okay, I'm holding in my hand. I got this big, hardback book. Cover art's pretty sweet. I'll give it that. Kinda.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a joke? Another joke?
Yeah.
Okay, this book. I'm sorry. I just getting the awesome writing that we had on the website that was free from great writers from just the
That worked at Wizards.
That worked at Wizards was phenomenal writing. It was good writing, even if it was like the story wasn't good. Like it was still good writing. It was still the writing was good, but the story itself was just like they had to talk about stuff that was unimportant.
Yeah.
Then picking up this book is just like one, knowing 95% of the story sucks, and it's just terrible. Like the writing compared to what we're used to is just like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know.
That depends on what do you mean what we're used to. Because if you're used to Dominaria, then do I have a book for you?
Yeah. I don't know. It's the main character shouldn't be the main character at all. It's just, I think that also hinders the book because it's like here's this epic battle between Gatewatch and Nicol Bolas, but let's throw in Teyo as main character. It's like, why? To be fair, it doesn't focus on Teyo like tremendously. He's not like it's not all about Teyo at all, but we're thrown into his world, and ultimately it just doesn't matter. Like it starts out with Teyo talking about Teyo and his world and his shield and blah blah blah, and then how he sucks at shields, and then he gets better at shields in Ravnica because he's forced to use them after he's buried alive. Blah blah blah. It's just like, dude, no one. There's the epic battle between Bolas and the Gatewatch and all the planeswalkers. No one cares about your stupid shields and how you suck at them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I don't care about that. You have the biggest battle you've ever had in recent memory. Okay, before someone says Yawgmoth and Urza, we had like 10 Magic players back then. Okay, now we have thousands and millions of Magic players. This is way more important.
Yeah.
We build this up forever.
This is. I mean, Magic is significantly bigger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like comparing Final Fantasy 6 to Final Fantasy 7. 6 is better, but 7 had more eyeballs. Anyways.
Hot take. I think Final Fantasy 8 is better than Final Fantasy 7.
I think you're lying. I think you played any Final Fantasy.
That's not true. I definitely have.
Which one?
I've played 5 through 9.
Really?
Yep.
Holy crap, I didn't know that. I didn't know about that. We should have a discussion sometime on a flashback about that. But regardless, yeah, it's just like it's telling the story of something that's completely irrelevant to this massive build-up story that's about to erupt and climax all over us, and it's like here's Teyo learning his shields and how to use them.
So just to remind everyone, today we're talking about Act 1, which is chapters 1 through 27. It is literally broken up into 3 acts. So we're essentially we're going to focus on those today. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll still continue through the book, despite what we believe is good, bad, or...
Of course, yeah. I still want to know. Also, another thing, they exclude the Niv Mizzet versus Bolas scene. They say, yeah, Niv Mizzet fought Bolas and died. It's like, okay.
So
you want to elaborate on that?
I have a specific issue with this. The book opens. Spoilers for War of the Spark book.
It's not spoilers.
Obviously.
Like if you're reading this, you're in the spoiler zone. So
yeah, just throwing it up there. The book opens with the prelude, which is called. It's simply titled Two Dragons, and it starts with the Spirit Dragon and the Dragon Spirit were having a little chat. Okay, so you know who the Spirit Dragon is, assume probably, which you believe is Ugin. If you don't, they don't tell you it's Ugin until
the very end, or very close to the very end.
Let's see. They keep just calling him the Spirit Dragon, which is, I guess, fine, because he is a Spirit Dragon. You find out that the Dragon Spirit is Niv Mizzet.
And how confusing is that?
Oh, ridiculously confusing.
The Spirit Dragon is targeting the Dragon Spirit. As he like for the longest time, I thought maybe he was talking to himself. It's like, what the heck is going on here? And then it's like, oh, but
I think it's like, out, but
it took longer than it should have taken. Like, why are you just give me the name? I know you're trying to do like this whole like build up, like blah blah blah. It was Niv Mizzet. He died. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's talk about the battle. Nah. And someone told me we're saving the Niv Mizzet plus Bolas battle for a different book. I just paid $30 for this book. I'm waiting for this book. Give me the freaking. Don't stop. Give me. I deserve everything that happens in War of the Spark. Niv Mizzet dying is part of War of the Spark. Do not put it somewhere else.
Well, get bad news.
I know.
By page 3. Because
he's dead.
God. This did not. I already was from the prelude where you have two characters that are millennia, or at least by Niv Mizzet's own admission. He's been alive for 16,768 years, and Ugin's lived twice or maybe 3 times that long. Got it. So when I'm starting in knowing that these two characters are very old, very intelligent dragons, why are they talking like they're like middle-aged men?
I don't know.
Here's a Niv Mizzet line. Who Niv Mizzet believes he is the smartest being in the multiverse. The spirit dragon rolled his eyes. My point is, we've seen it all before. Mortals rise, mortals fall. The show begins, the show ends, another performance follows. If I weren't already dead, I wouldn't lose a week of sleep over one more cataclysm, no matter how devastating the carnage. It's worse than that, and I believe you know it. If my brother wins the day, this is Ugin talking now, it won't be just another cataclysm. The show will end all right, but the next performance will be entitled The Infinite Reign of Nicol Bolas, and no other performer will ever take the stage.
Yes, and I hate, like, I hate it. I hate, because, like, from the beginning, it always says, by the way, Bolas is going to lose pretty handily, because you give us no other option. You give us zero other option. When you say, oh, if Bolas wins,
everyone's dead forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
oh, all right.
Okay. All right. Well, there's the ending.
I bet magic doesn't end with this book, so.
Exactly. Like, why? Anyways. Like, I know he's going to lose, but like basically, if I didn't know that and I was reading this book, that it's like reading a child's book.
Now we wait for the curtain to rise, Niv Mizzet. We wait for the curtain to rise. What is this? Is this some child that is writing this? Look, I feel like this book.
Were you not spooked by that? Was that not spoopy to you?
Spoopy? Yeah, it was spoopy.
Yeah, the curtain rising. Yeah, exactly. It was spoopy. Take out the S and the Y.
More like poopy.
It was poop. Just poop. Just poop.
This feels like a young adult.
Even cute.
A young adult book that
a terrible one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was like, but I've read good like YA fiction before, and this is not. It feels like that, but it's just like, are you lowering this down to the point of okay. So one of my big things with media in general is I try to figure out who is the audience for this. And sometimes if I can figure out who the audience is, and even if the audience isn't me, I can still enjoy it. Because I can be like, okay, well, the audience is this. Even though that's not me, I don't fall into that category, I still can understand it and appreciate it. I don't know who the audience is for this book. Because they're throwing you in with literally no information. So they're expecting you to have a wealth of knowledge about magic and the history of the characters. I don't have a problem with that necessarily. But they write it
for new people.
Exactly.
You can't.
That's the problem. Who is it for? Are you writing it for the people that know everything, or are you writing it for the people that don't know anything?
Yes, because
you're not writing it for the middle ground, because the middle ground people are expecting the middle ground people are expecting a good book. They're not. They don't have expectations over. I know a little bit, but you know. I don't know as much as my friend over here, and I know significantly more than other friends. So I just want to read this because it's a good book. Other people,
and even the beginning, even like you said, the beginning talks about the spirit dragon, and then expects you to know who that is for the longest time, and know who Niv Mizzet is because they're planning. But if you're doing that, then why is the tone so?
Yeah,
basic?
I literally just I don't know who I don't know who this is for. I don't know who this book is for.
Teyo.
If you don't know anything, you're lost. You're completely lost from page 1 on. If you know everything, you're going to be bored out of your mind.
Bored. Yeah.
And if you're in the middle, you're like, I feel like I should just be reading a book that is written better. And I will say, I don't think that Greg Weisman was given a task he could complete. This is Infinity War for Magic, right?
Yes.
Except they didn't have 20 Marvel movies ahead of it to come up. Like we have Magic sets, we have characters that are kind of fleshed out, and he was asked, no doubt, to fit all of these characters. Hey, have you heard of a character that's a Planeswalker? Well, they're in this book. And Greg, you have to figure out how you fit them all in. Well, no one can write a good book with a singular book. I'm not talking about a book series, but a good book. What is this? 300 pages? 300 and some pages?
I don't know.
With 100 characters.
Listen, I was listening to the audio file on the way up to visit you, and it's one person doing all the voices, and it was...
Oh, God.
Yep. Exactly. Oh, God. Because after a certain time, after you have like 4 or 5 different voices, they start to blend in. Yeah, please tell me who this is. Please tell me so-and-so you said this. Leon said this or whatever.
It's just... This is just like name drop soup. And
yeah,
it's frustrating because like
I feel like one of the main characters too is invisible. I don't know who that person is, and you have it on here too. It's who's Hakara?
Who is that?
Apparently, someone from the Guardian, a very important person. You know that was printed in Return to Ravnica as a card. Hakara.
No.
Hakara the non-existent.
Yeah. No, it doesn't exist. It's supposed to be some Rakdos character,
important figure
that is dead when you see them immediately, and you don't know what's going on. And everyone, the other people in the scene, which are Ral, Kaya, Lavinia, I think just those
Jace.
3. No, just those. When you first meet them, I think it's just those 3,
sure.
And they're all up in arms that she is dead.
Sure.
And you're just I guess they're important because these I know who these characters are and they think she's important, so I guess that she is.
And what's the girl that's invisible? What's her name? Do you remember?
Invisible?
Yeah. Or no?
Like an invisible character?
Oh, never mind. Maybe it gets worse. Maybe not.
Now I'm confused.
All right, keep going. We'll keep going.
Are you talking about the little girl?
Yes.
Rat?
Yes.
Her I had less of a problem with than most of the other characters.
But even she's like a big character that I don't know who that is.
No, but okay. So here's the difference. This I actually think this is a great observation. We were talking about Teyo. Teyo's real lame.
Yeah.
I don't think. First of all, no one cared about Teyo before this book because he didn't exist, and I cannot imagine that if you're reading this book that you care.
No.
And he's supposed to be you're looking through his eyes to experience this, but
this is your Gideon replacement.
Huh?
This is your Gideon replacement.
Jesus. Man, I'm not like a huge Gideon fan, but I am compared
That's
to
what I'm
Teyo.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But you're supposed to like, this is like the through the character's eyes character, like you're kind of like they're your kind of guide through the novel, like you're seeing things through their eyes. One, there's 10 different viewpoints, so you're not really at all. 2, this is Infinity War. That's like introducing a new character in a Marvel movie that has 40 characters, and then you're following them around for the whole movie. You're like, why am I not following around Captain America or Iron Man for the whole time, or at least someone I care about? Every time I open this and I see Teyo, I'm like, come on, let's just kill them off, or or you just forget about him. Like if they just drop Teyo, his viewpoint from Act 2 and Act 3, I would just be like, that's fine.
And dude, like, I was expecting some like major characters to die, No one's dead.
Domri dies. Domri's the only one that's dead.
He's not major. I guess he's the most major.
He is. He dies in about 3 pages from when he's introduced.
In 2 seconds.
In 2 seconds.
I'm Domri. I'm gonna go join Borealis.
And he's like, all right. So he's on the anti-Eternal side. So he and the Gruul are fighting Eternals, and then he sees V2 get bashed up by like Bantu and Kefnet, and he's like, nah, let's fight for Bolus. And then there's like a page of him like being like, hey, I'm gonna help you, and then Bolus gets Eternal kill him. Takes a spark. All right, well, that was quick.
Yeah, Bolus did not give two shakes of a rat's tail. You know, like rat, because the story has a
I
character named Rat. Okay, yeah. All right, making sure. So, yeah, it was bad. Yeah. I don't know. Also, why isn't Jace finding Vraska, giving her memories back? Oh, she's nice.
I'm back to hating Jace. How could you read this book and be like, oh, I really like Jace? Jace blames everyone but himself for everything.
Because he never went to Ixalan. That's why.
He did go to Ixalan.
I know. I'm saying everyone's forgotten about that,
including Jace. Jace.
When he came back to Dominaria, he was a complete douchebag to Lyanna.
Yeah, and he's like, how can I not be a douchebag? Oh yeah, I forgot. I wasn't a douchebag for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so frustrating because like I want to.
And he's such a douchebag to Lyanna.
He's a douchebag to everyone. He is literally he's the biggest douche in the world. I don't know how anyone could like Jace. He's the least likable main character of like Magic's history. I'm sorry. I especially after reading this book, he's painted so poorly that I legitimately don't understand. Like, he takes no responsibility for everything. He literally goes through and just blames other people. And then he thinks, like, maybe I could have done this, but they also could have done this. It's their fault. And maybe they're setting up for this big arc where Jace has a revelation that needs to be more responsible or not blame people. But it's like, but that's going to happen because you did something selfish and blame someone else. So at that point, I'm not going to care. Like, that's not going to make Jace not a jerk.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're right. He should have just terrible plan. With Vraska, terrible plan.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm hoping.
Also, that wasn't even a thing. By the time we get to Vraska has all of her memories back from some random character that gave her her memories back. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, let me find it. Give me a second.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious. Here, you keep on going. I'm gonna find this little. Here we go.
Thank God, because I can't keep on going. This is pretty trash.
Okay, here we go.
All
right. So in chapter 17, entitled "Where Vraska is the point of view character," I'm just gonna read this passage. So she's back on Ixalan, and her crew is happy to see her back, and they're shouting, "Captain, Captain!" Blah blah blah. The subject of their enthusiasm smiled. Their enthusiasm smiled wanly. It was good to see her crew again, certainly, but Captain Vraska wasn't really in the mood for celebration. She was nursing her wounds, which were minor, and her bitterness, which was mighty. She could feel the call of Ral's beacon, summoning her and every other planeswalker to Ravnica, and a part of her hoped that many a hero would answer that call. But the Gorgon Vraska would not be among their number. For unknown reasons, Breeches ran all the way around the oaken table 3 times. Then he stopped in front of his beloved captain, tilted his head like a child, and asked at a high volume, "Jace? Jace?"
For unknown reasons.
Vraska suppressed a groan. Last time she had been on Ixalan, she and Jace had been crewmates, and perhaps something more. But that seemed like a lifetime ago. Before she had instructed Jace to remove her memories as part of their brilliant strategy of taking Bolus down. Best laid plans and all that. Instead, Vraska's memories had been restored by another telepath. Zeddick, spelled Xeddick, one of her insectoid crawl allies and the closest thing on Ravnica she had to a friend before he was killed in her service. That's it. There you go. She's got her memories back.
So why is she still a douche?
Cool arc. Cool, sweet, super sweet arc where we had this grand plan for the excellently written Ixalan story that was written by in-house magic authors to this.
I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, you could have blinked and missed it. That's the whole point. Congratulations. Spoiler alert, by the way. Vraska's got her memories back. And no one
she
cares.
also does act changed, or doesn't go to Jace. Like what's going on here? You know what? Yeah. Okay.
We'll be back next week with Act 2.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Again, take it out.
Nothing really happens in this act.
Nothing happens. No.
To sum it up, for Matt N. Planeswalkers get to Ravnica. The Gatewatch get to Ravnica. They're summoned there. Ral activated a beacon that make all the Planeswalkers come because he and Kaya have realized that Nicol Bolas is a big meanie head. Then Nicol Bolas gets Tezzeret to open this portal from Amonkhet to Ravnica, brings all the Eternals. The Gatewatch stop focusing on Bolas and try to just fight the Eternals, which is exactly what Bolas wants. Liliana is very begrudgingly helping Bolas, even though she's wanting to kill him when she has an opportunity. They make that very clear from the beginning. But still yet controlling the Eternals. And Planeswalkers are name dropped about a mile a minute, just as they're existing. Some of them don't really do anything, they're just there.
Yep.
And then as they're fighting the Eternals at the very end, Nissa, who shows up, makes V2 gigantic, presumably a 9/9, and then goes to fight and knock down Godfarer statue, which Bolas put up because he's very smug. And then the God Eternals, so it's Bantu Kefnet, come and then shred down Vitu-Ghazi. Domri sees this, is like, whoa, that's cool, let's fight for this guy. Wants to go talk to Bolas, goes over there to fight with him, and then gets his spark ripped out and dies. End scene. Did I catch it all?
Yeah.
Great. Ready for Act 2 next week.
Yeah, V2 did nothing. All right, make sure to tune in next week for Act 2. But next up, we have something a little more exciting. It has to be, right?
We'll see.
It has to be. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. This will be in spoilers, so if you don't want to hear it, don't want to listen to it, then skip it. I don't know what to tell you. Or go watch it and come back.
Yeah.
All right, be back in a short few.
All right, again, for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, we're in full spoilers. So any further listening will get you spoiled.
All right, we're going in.
Great. Get on in there.
I love this episode. I thought it was better than the last episode, which is saying a lot, and I think is how episodes should have been set up. Comparing this to episode 1, which was also set up, this was so much more emotional than that episode was. The very end was pretty insane to me. How Cersei and spares Tyrion's life, even though she wants to kill him really badly, but then beheads Missandei. And then, I hate Cersei, and I'm not a huge fan of Daenerys, but I am excited for that fight because they're both just assholes. And when Daenerys is walking away, you see her facial expression contort multiple times. She is livid. So yeah, excited for that. They were good. I know you feel differently, so I'm gonna let you take the floor for a second.
I do feel differently, and it's largely because of things that we talked about in what we talked about last week for last episode. Honestly, I feel like that where we've transitioned from episode 3 to now is this should be 2 different seasons. I just think things are so rushed. We're in such a hurry to get to the end. There's supposedly 2 more books on the way, and I'm not trying to compare the novels to the TV show, but The Winds of Winter and Dreams of Spring. And I feel like episodes 1, 2, and 3 are probably the Winds of Winter novel, and then the 4, 5, and 6 are Dreams of Spring after the Night King has been defeated. But we're just like we're like snapping our fingers and just making things happen. And like I legitimately don't know why we're rushing at this point when the path for all of these things had been laid out so carefully in years before and seasons before, and now we're just like, let's just get through it all. Let's just get through it all as quick as we can. And it's frustrating because I want to be able to like savor all of this, like especially with this episode, because this episode did a good job of showing the interactions between the characters and what is important to these characters and what makes these people tick. But then you're interlooping that with people basically traveling over the entirety of a continent back and forth a couple of times. And so much happens in the span of like 10, 15 minutes on the show. It's like, this is like multiple episodes previously, which is why everyone grew to love this show. And the writing just seems like so noticeably different from when it has stopped drawing from the source material. Mainly in that point. It's not that it's like overall, like I don't think the narrative has necessarily been bad, even if I don't agree with some of the things that have happened. But that's not neither here nor there, because I'm not writing this, so I don't think it's fair to say, well, I wouldn't have done it like that. Well, yeah, no shit, right? Like no one would have done all of this like this. Like that's just how that works. But I feel like that the show is to the point, and this episode really stood out to me as we're trying to go so far out of our way to just wrap things up that we're willing to skip important things, like really important things. You know the scene in this episode that I wanted to see the most?
What?
When Jon was out by the tree with Sansa, Arya, and Bronn, when he told Sansa and Arya who he was.
Oh, you want to see the reaction?
I want to see that conversation, and I want to see their reaction. And instead, we get nothing. We get none of that.
Well, Bran explains it, you know?
That's not good enough. Sorry, that's not good enough. This show has taught me that's not good enough. We get to see all of these details. And it's not fair to any of those actors, too, because you work so hard to make these characters, and that's a moment that you get to have, and then it's just gone. Why?
Yep. One thing that upset me in a good way in this episode was Jaime. Kind of. Like, I felt like he ruined almost his entire character development and evolution in 1 second. Or 5 seconds, whatever.
Are you talking about when he left Winterfell?
It says multiple times over and over again. It's for Cersei. We know he's gonna kill Cersei, so that's why he has to go.
Yeah, you and I know that.
Yeah, but still, like, Jesus, man, you messed up Brienne really hard. Like, you initiated sleeping with her and going to her room, and then just pieced out on her, dumpstered her. Like, that's not the Jaime I know, but it's crazy because, like, I want to see what Cersei says to him now when he goes back. It's like, hey, I'm back to help you. She's gonna take him in. She's sleeping with the other guy, so
you're on.
Yeah. So that to me is like spicy. One thing that really did upset me is Jon just not even like giving Ghost a hug.
That pissed me off.
Yes, he's like, Ghost can go with you. I'm like,
what?
Okay,
that's it.
I was like, okay, he's going with you. Go talk to Ghost. Give one final like, what the? Like, he didn't. Ghost looked like he was falling apart. And Jon's like, yeah,
physically, yeah.
And Jon's just like, yeah, peace. Excuse me. That direwolf has protected you its whole entire life. Like, give it more compassion. You give everyone a hug.
On the head. You didn't even get a pat on the head.
Dude, he gave everyone that was leaving a hug or a talk. He just looked at Ghost whined, cried, and yeah, that's it. Like, what?
What a terrible dog owner, Jon Snow.
I agree. I agree. I definitely that was one thing that pissed me off. I did like how quickly the dragon died, just like out of nowhere.
I think. Well, I liked. Yes, and I'll let you. You go ahead first.
Honestly, I liked it because it's very Game of Thrones like. It's like
Yes, that's vintage
wham,
Game of
bam.
Thrones.
Yeah, wham bam dead. Wait, like wham bam, what's going on is dead. Okay, I do think Daenerys was stupid. Where like one arrow hits the dragon's chest, and they're just like, "What's going on? Question mark? Huh? What's going on? Let's keep flying. Where'd that come from?" When another one hits the wing, yeah, let's keep going. What's going on? Who knows? Then out of nowhere, again, one hits him in the neck. Like, come on! Like, as soon as that first arrow hit, turn the F around. Do something else. Like, dive down the water. What are you doing? You're flying dumb. That pissed me off because we know where it came from. Over there somewhere. Turn around. Leave. They have ways to deal with the dragons. Leave for now. Oh god. That made me upset.
Who is sneakier? Arya, who snuck up on the Night King, who basically is an all-knowing entity that can see into the future, the past, and certainly around him, or Euron, who snuck up on two dragons that are flying in the sky with a fleet of ships.
Euron, apparently.
Has to be, right? That's the only answer.
Oh my god. I don't know.
It's moronic. That didn't make any sense. I'm sorry. There's no way you can explain that to me.
I also don't know how their ships didn't have anything to attack with. Like, Euron destroyed them.
Well, destroyed one of them. Couldn't hit the other one to save their life.
Yeah,
flying right at them, by the way.
I thought she was like circling back to breathe fire. I was like, you know what? Just go. Do it. I want to see it because I'm pissed. No, she's running away. Which is, I guess, fine, but you should run away the second the first arrow hit the dragon. Poor dragon. Poor dragons, man. I think with each loss of the dragon, Dany's going more and more mad. Mad as in, like, not upset, like, raw, I'm gonna hit you, like, crazy mad.
Well, I mean, look.
She's losing her. She's, like, pushing. Like, hey, we should rest at Winterfell before we take the army to Cersei. No. Go now. Okay.
I think the only person that hates Daenerys Targaryen more than me is Sansa Stark.
Has to be Sansa.
Yeah. Who's great?
Arya doesn't like her either. Arya doesn't like her either.
No. Arya isn't, I mean, to be fair, Arya isn't like most people.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's
listened to his family. They both said, hey, we don't think she's good for you. She's not like... And there were red flags when he was talking to her in private. He's him saying, "Oh, tell my sister." He's like,
flags?
"No, don't you do it?" Yeah,
there was there were like 20 red flags. Everything she said.
Yeah,
Daenerys
just blind.
is terrible. And let me tell you, people are like, "Oh, Daenerys is really getting." No, this is how she has been. This is the same Daenerys that she's always had, but she's never had anyone oppose her, and she doesn't know what to do. Because the only thing she knows how to do when people oppose her is kill them. Okay? She's never been a good person. Breaker of chains, freer of evil, uniter of the United Nations, whatever she wants to call herself, okay? The fact is, we can go back to when she got the Unsullied, when they were on whatever thing that was with when the Masters held them, right? And they were like, we'll trade you the Unsullied for a dragon. She was like, okay, cool. I'll do that. Knowing that she was just not going to do it. Which is fine because they're bad people. But that's just how she painted everyone. Everyone that opposed her was bad or evil or not fighting for the realm. And she constantly says, whenever she approaches someone, whenever she talks to someone, she's like, you killed so-and-so. She talked to Jaime, you killed my father. Your father was literal crazy that was killing people with wildfire.
Yeah.
Or talking about somebody else. You killed my brother. Look, you care about family so much, or you say you care about family so much, and then you realize Jon is your family, but you don't want him to be your family because he's now a threat to the Iron Throne, which the only thing that you care about. Don't care about anything else. Don't care about people. Willing to sacrifice everyone else. Willing to sacrifice all the people. Willing to sacrifice innocent people, even though people
Kudos to Varys for seeing that.
trying to say, look, and Varys and Tyrion are like, hey, maybe don't go murder all the people that you're trying to save, quote unquote, because she doesn't care. She's completely blinded, like she's always been.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's, I mean, that part just proved that, like, Dany's like, she's no longer the hero. She's, she's not seen.
I just don't know how she's ever been the hero in my eyes.
She has been. She has been the hero.
I know. No, I know that.
Not in yours. Yeah, but now she's like not the hero in multiple people's eyes. She's like a person that's like, I don't know if I want this person to rule. If they're just willing to sacrifice innocence for no reason like that.
That's always
quickly.
been the case, though.
Okay, but sure, I'm saying like, but now this is more apparent to everybody.
Yeah.
Because of her answer, her reaction, and how she's and what she's doing. And I don't think Jon's going to take this throne. I think it's too obvious. I think Cersei's not going to do it. I don't think Dany's going to do it either. So I'm just curious who he'll get it.
There's only one person that everything they've ever done is for the betterment of the Seven Kingdoms. There's only one person on the entire show where everything they've done is for that.
Tyrion?
Varys.
Varys. Yeah, Varys probably the best.
The only person, and even Tyrion
No
brings
way he
that
lives,
up.
though.
Who are you ruling
Yeah.
again? He's just like, look. He's like, I'm just trying to find the best person. Just try, and sometimes that person changes, and then I need to try to help them. But he's always acted
For the betterment of the people.
for the betterment of people. Yep, 100% of the time.
Yeah. And when Daenerys said she's gonna, like, he wants Jon to be fair, Jon I think would be a very good candidate as well, because someone that doesn't want that power or that responsibility but is good at it, I think speaks volumes.
Yeah.
For them to have that position.
Most likely. Let's talk about someone who we both agree is frustrating. One, Brandon Stark. What are you doing, my guy? What are you doing? What is his point? What is the point of this character now?
I don't know, because he has so much build up, so much power, so much, like, knowing he's gonna kill the Night King, obviously, and he warged forever, and now he's just doing nothing. And I'm just like, you had so much responsibility like last season, and now you're just like,
You're literally nothing. You're literally worthless.
that. Yeah, that to be fair, that is something that did bother me as well.
I don't know how it couldn't.
Yeah, because he was just like a hype character. He was like a character with insane power, like actual magic power and freaking time travel, and you just like stripped him of that. Didn't strip him of it, but he's just not doing anything.
He's literally doing nothing.
Like those ravens, like we warged the ravens. Maybe they could have fought off some.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know what he's doing. Because he lets Jon go. He lets Dany go. I don't know what his end game is. Like, he killed Night King. He's just done now. Like,
First of all, he didn't kill the Night King. He didn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. He didn't kill the Night King, but like Night King is dead. I don't know. I don't know what his purpose is anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. Another thing about Bran, he literally, someone's like, Tyrion even says to him, like, they're talking, and he has like this staff, and he's like, it's modeled after the staff of 100 years ago, and I really liked it, how it looks.
It's his wheelchair.
Or the wheelchair. Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Tyrion's like, well, don't you want the Iron Throne? And he's like, I no longer want. You just said you liked the wheelchair. You just said it a second ago, like literal second ago. Did you forget that, Bran? Were you in a different time period? You thought you were saying that to somebody else? Nah, dog. You said that to the screen a second ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Get out of here with that. You're not even consistent in your own sentences. That's one sentence. You barely took a breath before you said that.
He's just that smart, man. He's just that
He's
smart.
that stupid.
It's crazy because he's such a good, cool character.
No, he's not.
He was such a cool character. Like, so, like, he was kind of mysterious, intriguing. We know how his time travel power worked, how deep it was, and then I just got like, you
ever met someone that you're like, oh man,
garbage.
They're mysterious. I don't know what's going on with them, which makes me attracted to this person, and then you find out they're an idiot.
It's like, it's like online dating. you're like talking to this person back and forth. You build them up in your head.
Yeah, because you can create this ideal of what this person is, and then they turn out to Bran Stark, and they're just an idiot.
They do nothing. They do nothing. Then you meet them, and everything they said and talked about, they're just like, hey, like, hi, and that's it. Just like, we talked for hours. Like, the thing is, like, he built himself up a little bit too, but he's rolling his own poop now. I agree. That's frustrating. But this did hype me up a lot more than, like, I just like episode 1 more than this episode, honestly. Because I feel like nothing happened in episode 1 where things need to be happening in 6 episodes.
The difference between episode 1 and this episode for me is I didn't have expectations for episode 1. And this one, I had expectations. It failed to meet them. You and I talked last week about a curveball, that we needed a curveball for a lot of what happened last week to make sense. None of that happened. None of it.
No curveball. No curveball. No.
In fact, they're skipping scenes that are important. They tear up all of Daenerys' ships, right? And then they randomly pluck Missandei out of the water independently.
Yeah, that's weird.
What? How did that happen?
Without explanation, just randomly. Yeah.
Oh, here she is. She's been captured. Like, this is some... That's not Game of Thrones. They're detailed. There's no detail. There's no nuance to what's going on.
There's no book to read from. There's no book to get the info from.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
And it shows, yeah.
Very much. Very much so.
Like, I think they know I think Martin gave them the key highlights. Like,
here, hit these beats.
Cersei captures Missandei.
Yep. Arya kills the Night King.
Yes.
Here's these 5 things that happen. You figure the rest out.
Euron kills the dragon. One of the dragons. Basically, like 30 bullet points of everything that happens. You fill in the blanks. And they're not really filling the blanks. They're just going from point A to point B pretty fast.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. Like, that's why we love this show. Like, this episode and last episode did not seem like they were even part of the same story.
I just can't believe the last night or that fight was just 1 episode long. I feel like that could have easily been just 2 episodes, and you could just... It should have been 2 episodes. But anyways, there's 2 more left. I don't think it's going to slow down. It's probably just going to get faster.
Yeah, probably.
It has to. I mean, it has to. There's two left. Like, the fight between Cersei and Dany, and then Iron Throne mad stuff. And that's it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I always expected an unexpected finish with this book, but now I don't think it's going to be anything crazy.
I don't think so either. I feel like I'm just like, after this week's episode...
I hope I'm wrong. Hope it's still a curveball. We'll see. Maybe Bran does...
I just feel like I'm going to be disappointed. Like, with the way this has been written. It's very fan servicey, like with Brienne and Jaime getting together and like Arya and Gendry having their moment. It's like, I don't know, this seems like this is what people want and they're just trying to give it to them, and that's the opposite. That's the opposite of Game of Thrones. I don't know. I also didn't like how they characterized Sansa in this episode. It wasn't any of the characters, but how it was written. Because Sansa is an incredibly strong woman, and they're like, hey, Sansa, you're strong because you went through this and you were raped and tortured, and well, I don't think that's fair. Like, I don't think that's a fair characterization. Like, she's not strong because of that. She's strong in spite of that. And I think they're doing that character a disservice by trying to paint it that way. But she's also like, she's who she is because of what happened. I think that's how I took that paint. I don't know if I agree.
I definitely agree with that. I do think that she is who she is.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think it was written, how I interpreted the writing of that scene when Sansa's talking to the Hound, and she's saying that for herself, that, well, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't go through this. It's like, well, I just don't think that's fair. Like, Sansa from the beginning has been smart and tough.
She was not. Sansa was they referred to her. She was not tough in the beginning. She was weak and naive and stupid.
I don't think she was weak.
I thought she was weak.
If weak people die in this show.
I think she was weak in the beginning. I think she was also like, I think stupidity is also weakness. Like, in that she was super naive and like,
she was naive. Yeah, because she was young.
But it's more than that. Like, Arya was young too. Like, she was a Disney princess.
Arya was naive when she was young.
Not like Sansa though. Sansa was a whole different level. Sansa was like a completely different page than Arya was. Like she was the most naive, and
I just don't like that they're characterizing her as, because she went through all of this, she's now
tougher.
Like, that's like saying, well, Jon's only tough because he died and came back.
No, but Jon is who he is because of his past. Like, I think that definitely applies to Sansa. I think her brains, her ways to calculate.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, like, I just don't think that because of her experience that she's a completely different character. Like, that is within her, has been within her the entire time. Like, surviving through all of these people, surviving through Joffrey and Ramsay and Littlefinger.
Right. Sure.
Like, that's I
understand that.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she had that strength to be able to do that and to make sure that she was in the best position to escape the situation. Like, that's always who she's been. She wasn't like forged in this fire and now she's come out and she's like super Sansa. I don't know.
I think she is. I think that's what happened. Not super Sansa, but she is hardened, whatever, because of her experience. More wiser because of what happened to her. I do not think she would have been that way without those past experiences. And
I'm not saying it doesn't affect her. I think that would be foolish for me to say, but
yeah, I know. Yeah. But also, yeah, that's my opinion. That's what I think. But regardless, I think that's minor overall. But yeah, I am still hyped because the ending was, even though it was a little choppy with Missandei, that was the Game of Thrones I was expecting. Like, important characters died, and very quickly. Missandei and the dragon, and then just that tension was insane. Like, I can't believe she didn't kill Tyrion.
I can. I'm glad you brought that back up. Cersei is, at this point, obviously is slightly unhinged, maybe more than slightly, right?
Yeah.
She sent Bronn to kill
both of them.
Tyrion. She wants Tyrion to die from that crossbow. That's how she wants him to go. She could have killed Tyrion for sure, but that's not how she wants him to go. If she did, she would have just done it. But Cersei is a sadistic sentimentalist, and she believes in, like, payback, essentially. So that's her payback for Tyrion, is dying to his friend, shooting him with the crossbow that was used to kill her dad. That's how she wants Tyrion to go.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
What other reason do you have for her not killing him?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, the other reason was because maybe Tyrion is technically family, and she did learn that Tyrion did not kill her son at the end. That it was the super BA.
Look, you've already said the F word. You say it every week, and then you say BA and poopy butt and stuff like that. So get in or get out.
I mean, I don't want to go. What's her name? I should know her. She's epic. She's epic. The old lady with the flower house. The flower. She poisoned Joffrey. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Should tell Cersei it was me.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe her learning that it wasn't Tyrion. Maybe regardless, I don't know. I'm ready for this fight. I'm ready for.
Yeah, but she already knew that when she told Bronn to go kill Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't care. So there were some people I was talking to at work were like, how, like, Tyrion, like, completely blew up the fact that Cersei's pregnant when he was, like, talking and everyone could hear. However, I would assume Cersei already knows this. She knows that Tyrion knows that Jaime got Cersei pregnant. But
yeah, what's name does not know.
Euron, he's so arrogant. Once he found out that Cersei was pregnant, he probably told everybody that Cersei was pregnant with his child.
Yeah.
So when they're talking, Cersei's the only one that knows both sides. And Euron probably just assumes that Tyrion is talking about his child because he's so arrogant. Why would he not? He's like, well, everyone knows, of course, that I've put a child on the queen.
Yeah.
So for people saying like, oh, well, shouldn't the Tyrion been furious or Euron been furious?
Yeah, but is it Jaime? I'm not sure it's Jaime. Is this last one?
What?
Because is baby Jaime's?
That's what Cersei told Jaime. Yeah.
Right. I don't think it is.
Whose would it be?
I think it's somebody else's.
Well, it doesn't matter. Regardless, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant whose it is.
Well, towards the end, she was using her body and her quote unquote charms for manipulation. And
yeah,
I don't think,
towards the end. Since episode 1.
Well, for a while there, she was dedicated to Jaime. Like her body was.
Yeah, but she was using it to manipulate Jaime.
Sure. Yes, but it was just for Jaime.
Yeah, You're right. It doesn't matter whose it is, but point being, Tyrion would believes that it's Jaime's, and he believes he was talking about Jaime's baby, and Euron thought that Tyrion was talking about Euron's baby. So there's no reason for anyone to be confused, like, wait, what is this baby we're talking about? Because everyone already knows that's listening that there's a baby. They just don't know whose it's about, and that coming up is irrelevant. So, case closed.
Fair. All right.
Next week, War of the Spark Act 2, Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 5. Hope we get that counterpunch. Hope we get some answers. I want to get shocked. I want to be completely shocked. I want to pee myself. I'm so surprised. That's what I want.
2 damage. All right. We it?
Yeah, I don't know. You're going on with...
I don't know. Okay, question of the week coming up here shortly.
All right.
Bye.
All right, Ollie, you know what it's time for.
Question of the week!
You almost got it out ahead of me.
Tried to.
Yeah, I know. Ollie, your new favorite character in all of Magic, you said earlier in segment 2, was Teyo Verada.
Oh my god.
So, the question is simple. Since Teyo is so awesome, do you think that he's going to be a major character in Magic lore and cardboard going forward?
No. I hope not. This is me hoping and dreaming because he's garbage. He's not garbage. He's just uninteresting. Like, Gideon was interesting, and somehow he's more uninteresting than Gideon. I just pray he isn't. He also did not take the oath, and Kaya did. So I'm going to say no.
That's bold of you. I'm going to have to go with yes. I got a couple of reasons. I'm looking on the front of this novel, Ravnica, War of the Spark. You know what I see? I see a Nicol Bolas in the background. I see a 1 Gideon Jura. I see a Chandra Nalar. I see a Kaya, no last name. 3 members of the Gatewatch. Now with Kaya having her oath of Kaya. And then I see 1 young Teyo Verada on the left with his geometry things. A character sucking does not preclude them from being a major character. Case in point, Jace Bellerin. Jace sucks a lot. However, Jace was the poster child of Magic for about 10 years. That's a really long time for someone to suck so much and be the poster child. Gideon, as we know, is not going to be around anymore. Elspeth.
Please let me Teyo, main character.
What?
You don't like Kara being like a spotlight card.
You should,
I don't want him to take the spotlight and be like a major character.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's the question. Yeah, but I think he is. All of the rest of our mono white characters are non-existent, except for Teyo Verada.
Stop.
Look, I'm just playing the odds here. They didn't just make him and put him in the book and have him be a 10th of the book for him to just not exist going forward. That's just not how it's going to work. There's just no way. Teyo's in.
I say Zhao.
The man.
Just say Zen. You let us know. You can find me over at twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi. Cool Stuff Inc. Videos go up every Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is a Green Lantern or Chromatic Green. Friday we have a Bant Walker's deck that was really, really good going up Friday. Twitch.tv. You can also find my streams at twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi. What are you, Parnell?
You can find me on Twitter at jparnell1 on Twitter, and StarCityGames.com and YouTube on Commander Versus. And you can find me Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/jparnell. I only stream for about 4 hours a week, but it has been fun. I think I'm probably going to be doing some Esper Hero next week, updated with some War of the Spark cards.
I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away your tears. You still take my breath away.
Wow, that was exactly like, I think, Enrique Iglesias.
All right, just making sure.
You can find the show.
Hopefully the lyrics were right.
You can find, they were close. They're close enough. Close enough for anyone to recognize them. You can find the show at ThinkTwiceMTG on Twitter, and you can contact us thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. You can, of course, find us listening for your ear holes, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean, and, of course, youtube.com/thinktwicemtg. If you want to support the show further, go to patreon.com/thinktwicemtg to join the Patreon family. And, of course, we do have some Discord animal pictures of the week. I selected first, and that's not fair. It's not really fair to anyone. But I'm selecting Stella, the French Bulldog. I mean, smartly decided to get he and his partner to get a adorable little sweet French Bulldog for his partner's parents directly before they're going out of town. Smart move, so you get to spend time with the dog when they're gone. Perhaps steal it, perhaps not. That comes at a later date, who knows. Either way, Stella is on a front porch, and she is looking so cute. I want to just rub those ears and just kiss all over her little face. It's such a sweet little face.
Yeah, she has like rabbit ears. They're adorable.
Look at this face.
All right, I'm going to go with Fraser. He has Gideon, and Gideon's asleep on this big, is it a couch? It's like a couch.
This is a couch. Brown couch. Big brown couch. Tan couch.
Yeah, and he's sleeping. I have narcolepsy. Win-win. Go Gideon. You're the best. Adorable. You just like, how can you not like be in love with a dog that's sleeping on a big bed? He looks very comfy too. Gideon, you win my vote.
So Gideon and Stella, congratulations for your animal pictures of the week. Keep them coming, everyone. It's the best part of the Discord, straight up. We want to give a special thanks to our Agent of Bolus producers, Downey Hunt and Matt Lindell. Thank you, folks, very much for doing what you do to keep the show going. We do have another Agent of Bolus slot for those of you that are interested in that. So it'll probably be open only for a short period of time. I'm sure someone will scoop it up, but we do have a slot that just opened up. So if you would like to support at that tier level and work with me on the Commander Versus deck, or more than one, depending on how long you support, you can do so. Thanks to our director and producer, John Choi, and our community manager, William Johnson. They're behind the scenes, working hard to make sure to make this podcast and all of our content as awesome as it can be. Next week's topic, War of the Spark Ravnica novel, Act 2, and Game of Thrones Season 8, episode 5.
All right, Justin. I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
How much?
3,000.
Dang. Okay. All right. See y'all next time.